Hi, hello, and welcome, great people. Thank you for choosing to listen to this episode. We passed the equinox. We won 1 hour of sunlight. So good job to you and good job to me. Since last episode, we did it, but now we get that extra hour of sun and the days keep getting bigger. Equinox. That's a fun word, isn't it? Sounds like a spell from Harry Potter. I would tell you more about it, but it's not Greek, it's Latin. So let's get going on a ride of things that caught my attention this week. Now, the first thing is a bit of crazy, is a bit of a wild thing, is that there's a lot of things going underneath the pyramids in Egypt. There are these researchers that say that maybe there are structures like underground complexes connected. And now you will say, Hermes, have you lost your mind? Did you take the tinfoil out of the Philadelphia and put it around your head? But seriously, there could be something going on. There are two researchers in 2022. They published a peer-reviewed research, and they used something called SAR. It's a radar technology. It sends radar pulses and it can reveal structures inside surfaces. So they could see structures inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. This was their research and it's a solid one. It's valid. But now, 3 years later, they say they have latest findings on another pyramid, the second largest in the Giza Plateau. It's 3 pyramids there. Because they used the same technology again and some software that takes these radio signals and reconstructs them in 3D. And they say that in the second pyramid, underneath lie 5 massive structures near the base of the pyramid, that they are connected with passageways. They see different levels in things. They see some cylindrical wells going hundreds of meters down, and they say these could be water systems. They claim that these cylinders converge, underground forms an overall complex that spans beneath all 3 pyramids. This is pretty wild. So they're saying that underneath the pyramids, it's not just void. It's a designed and functional underground complex. So this is super exciting. The research will get peer-reviewed soon, and it has really, polarized, hot shit going on in the Egyptologist community around this research. Because if true, this would be wild. And some the radar experts say that they are exaggerating, but there are likely structures. They agree on the findings, but how you reconstruct and you do the 3D modeling maybe is up to debate. But there seem to be things down there. And first of all, I have to say, exciting. Thank you. I'm tired of wars. I'm tired of trade tariffs. I'm tired of everything we eat is doomed and climate change. The news is just, And we hear every now and then we had a nuclear fusion reactor run for 20 seconds, a new breakthrough from China, and then France says we made our own fusion core run for 22 seconds, and this could be genuinely exciting news. Second of all, how on earth are these things lost? This is something I struggle to get, and probably any historian listening to this podcast will think I'm stupid. Why is history backwards so broken? It's kind of crazy to think that there could be massive cities there that are completely forgotten. They just happened and we kind of forgot. It's a pretty wild thing that there could be things sitting underneath the pyramids. They're the biggest thing there. You cannot miss them, right? They have been there for 4,000 years. So how does at some point knowledge just stop being passed forward? It's so crazy to think because we live in a world where we document everything now. Every single detail is being documented. But this is what 4,500 years can do. And my third thought on this is, hey, as ancient Greeks, we need to pull something off. We can't have the Egyptians outsmarting us so much. If they have built this underneath complexes and cities underneath the pyramids, we need to reply to the game. Ancient Greece must have something to show of the same proportions. Maybe it's another Antiquitera mechanism, that ancient computer that they found. If you don't know about this one, it's the first computer of its time. A lot of gears would turn and they could calculate future dates and moon phases and everything in the same way that a gearbox computer would work like. It's called the Antiquitera mechanism. But I don't know if this could really stand head to head. If Egyptians have built 600 meters underneath the pyramids, a whole new city, I think we're losing. So Greek archaeologists, please get going, get something ready to show out there so we can stay up to par with our Egyptian ancient brothers and sisters. But let's see about that. I'll keep my finger on the pulse. Now, in the meantime, on baby life, back in the day, I would get so annoyed when people said, "How old is a baby in weeks?" I would be like, hey, do you think that I want to be doing math here? Don't tell me the baby is, 19 weeks. Just tell me it's 5 months old or 4 months old. But now I get it. They change week by week so much that it makes absolute sense to divide it as such. And replying to someone how old the baby is with weeks, they either had a kid and kind of know what it means, or it means nothing, which is okay. But at 9 weeks, my son started smiling. He's not an easy one to smile. This is a new thing. Before they do a little bit of a reaction face spasm that looks like a smile, but it's not. It's fake. You should not believe it. If you have a younger baby, just a few weeks old, and they're laughing, they are not laughing. Sorry to ruin it for you. But now he started smiling for real. And he's not an easy one to smile. You have to dance to him. You have to sit in front of him, start dancing, shake that booty, put some music on, put him in a chair to watch. It's almost like a lap dance, okay? But if you do that, then you can get a smile. And it feels very funny to do this kind of a lap dance on the baby, but it makes a lot of sense because he's definitely the kingpin of the house. But yes, he smiled and I caught it on video and I sent it to my mom. So life is good. In other news, he's more curious to see things and just observe. We went to an apartment he had never been before, and he was just wide open eyes looking at everything. It must be crazy to have seen nothing of this world, right? It's almost impossible to grasp how everything is new. Now, one more thing. I was driving. We had to go a few places, and having to drive very slow can be a bit annoying. Instead of being in the highway, you pass some of these tiny villages. You need to go with 50. Sometimes you need to go with 30. And in the past, I used to think that, okay, this is a bummer, I felt oppressed. When there was a sign that said drive below 30, I felt oppressed that someone wants me to have a bad time. And now I was driving and I was looking at this street inside a village and I thought, what if a kid jumped? And I guess if you go with 30, it won't die. I think that 30 gives the child an extra life, like playing Super Mario. It gives them the buffer to not die if they run on the street. And it made me reconsider. I thought, okay, like if I was playing a video game and there are these different skills you can have or buffs you can buy, if there was a power-up that said it makes you not die if you jump on the street once, I would buy one to have it. And I would buy one for my kid right away. And I would say, hey, hold this. It revives you if you jump on the street and die. So, yeah, this is how I visualize it now. Getting all paranoid, thinking of little children jumping in front of me. And yeah, not killing them feels good. And this is how you use keywords that get the podcast demonetized right away. This is why it's not being promoted anywhere, because I use all the wrong keywords all the time. No children were harmed in this episode, but the same cannot be said for J.D. Vance, the vice president of the US, this wonderful human being, because he must have been pretty hurt. He must have been pretty hurt because he wanted to visit Greenland, the country which he and Trump wants to buy after repeatedly insulting every single habitat. But here's what happened. J.D. Vance wanted to visit Greenland, also with his wife, but they could not find one person that wanted to greet him. And you can look this up, it's absolutely true. They literally sent US agents on the country some days before, and they went door to door, especially for Usha Vance, his wife. She wanted to spend several days in Greenland. Is she the second first lady? Can you say that? She's the second lady. She wanted to spend some days in Greenland on a, quote, cultural visit. Yeah? And they could not find a single Greenlander that agreed to just say hi to Usha Vance. So that visit actually got cancelled because, everyone refused to meet them. So J.D. Vance traveled alone, and he went to the US base that they have there, and he took a photo of him pointing in a distance that the internet has done a great job in creating all sorts of memes for it. But imagine 50,000 people being asked if they want to be seen talking to you, and everyone saying no. So thank you, people of Greenland. You should be proud. Now, moving from Greenland to Canada, I want to tell you a little story. In 2005, there was a Canadian blogger. His name is Kyle MacDonald, and he started this unusual quest. He wanted to start trading items. He had a single red paperclip, and he said, how far can I go trading this item upwards? Eventually, he was aspiring to acquire a house. He drew inspiration from the childhood game of trading, and he listed his first trade online. He was offering the red paperclip in exchange for a fish-shaped pen, and someone accepted the offer. So then he got the pen, and then he started this series of trades, each one escalating in value. He moved from the fish pen to a doorknob, then to a camping stove, eventually to a generator, and with each transaction, he found always individuals that were willing to swap for increasingly desirable items. His journey also attracted some attention, and he ended up trading a snowmobile for a recording contract, and then the recording contract for a speaking role in a Hollywood film. And slowly but surely, over the course of 1 year, Kyle MacDonald successfully completed 14 trades, and his final exchange, it was the movie role that he traded for a 2-story farmhouse in Kipling, which is in the middle of nowhere. But he got a house, and not only did he realize his dream, but this little town celebrated his achievement with a festive event and made him a symbol of creativity and tenacity. Why am I sharing this story? I don't know. I think it was really, it made me smile, and I think it illustrates how small opportunities, coupled with persistence and with inventive thinking, can step by step lead to extraordinary results. Yeah, more or less, is this a life coaching thing? It made me think this thought that if you're grinding, if you keep going at it, you will eventually get where you want. You don't have to be the best, you don't have to be the smartest. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon type of situation. But I have a lot of examples in life where people who were determined and persistent and not letting a bad moment define you and just keep going at it, you will eventually end up in good places. So there are 2 ways to see this story. One was, if you want to feel insignificant, if you want to feel useless, there was this one guy who went from a paperclip to a 2-story house. What have you done in life? I'm sure you have a lot of paperclips sitting around. Why don't you have a lot of houses converted? What are you even doing? Or you can take inspiration and just say, oh, cool. If you have a passion, if you have an idea, if you have something and you want to follow, don't listen to anyone. Just keep going at it. And eventually you will end up in a good place. Now, I'm starting to wrap up. I want to share with you that I watched Anora, the film. I have not been watching a lot of films. I'm trapped in my head in this Netflix subscription I have. And I always think, oh, it's such a hassle to start another subscription to another thing. But I forgot to realize that you can actually very easily rent movies online. And I'm someone who has pirated for decades, allegedly, but now I'm in Germany, so I don't even think about any streaming situations. But the ease in which you can just rent a movie online and pay the same amount you would pay for a beer and watch it is very, very convenient. I tend to forget how easy it is. And yeah, so we watched Anora, see what the fuss is all about. I have to say, I enjoyed the new movie quite a bit. I'm not sure if all of these Oscars were, I don't know what else was on this year. It didn't seem to me like a 5 Oscar movie, but it was very enjoyable and a bit refreshing to watch. It reminded me a lot of this movie Uncut Diamonds, I think the name was, which again has this chaos, stress, overwhelming things are happening all over the place, and the main story tries to slowly continue, but it's like trapped in a mud of chaotic exchanges that are happening with a lot of comedic reliefs. But it was good. I was thinking it will get gruesome or dark so many times, but it kept playing on that balance of just being an enjoyable, funny movie without going to shit. Like at some point I thought this will go to shit, but no, it kept this light undertone all the way through. So yeah, good movie. Give it a watch. Would I give it Oscars? I don't know. I'm not the one. I would give it an 8 on IMDb. An 8 is a pretty good score. Then the second movie we watched was Boyhood. And this is a movie I wanted to watch for so long. Boyhood is a movie about the upbringing of a boy. But what's crazy about it is that it has been shot through 12 years, I think. So the director is actually following, it's the same actor that we get to see from the age of 10 to 22 or 8 to 20 or something like this, which is such an interesting concept to watch a movie that was 12, 13 years in the making and to see people age within the movie. So his sister is aging, his mom is aging, and you have these cuts into the future. So maybe you see the boy and he's 8 and things are going on, and then you have a cut scene and all of a sudden he's 13 and you kind of miss how life continued, but you also caught up with it. And this happens a few times within the film. I have to say I found it soothing almost in a way. It had a rawness of life and how things can be. It reminded me a lot of the movie Marriage Story, the one with the dude with the huge ears that played in Star Wars. He's a good actor. I don't know any names, I'm sorry. Marriage Story was also a very tough movie. Like it would make you almost cry, but it basically told you there is no right or wrong. It's just life. Things happen, people change, relationships break up. Everyone's trying to do their best, but it doesn't always work. But when you put all that through the lens of time and you extend time so much from a young boy all the way to him going to college and the experiences and how they shaped him and all that, it has this feeling of no one is perfect and life is life and everyone is trying to do their best. And yeah, things can be hard, but eventually you get past them. I don't know how to say it. It had something bittersweet in it. And it's quite a long journey that you follow conceptually about this boy and this family. Very, very nice movie. Give it a go if you haven't. It definitely touched something in me. And now I'll end with this last thought. It's a thought I have often. It's not easy to try and bring optimism sometimes in life or try to see things from a positive lens, and all those things. Here's a little trick that works pretty well. So, do you know how sometimes you regret that you cannot be young again and you think, oh, if I was 16 now, I would, I don't know, do things so differently. I would seize life. I would, I don't know, hug my friends and go out there again and enjoy the magic of that age. If I could be back in my 20s, how little responsibilities I had, I would do X, Y, Z. Well, I like to sometimes pretend that I'm super old, that I am in my 80s, and that in that stage, I'm thinking, oh, I would love to be in my 30s where I was, I don't know, my body is capable and I can eat whatever I want and I can be enjoying this amount of health and possibilities and all that. And it fills you with gratitude. It's like if you really believe it, if you really do this thought exercise, then you can feel that you're waking up in your age and that you wonderfully have another 50 years. If we think our best days are behind us, it's the same of thinking that our best days is right now. We are at our prime every single moment. So, yeah, I don't know however many years we will get to be able to enjoy the little things, being able to go to the grocery, getting a nice drink, jumping over a puddle of water that you saw on the street. So this is my advice. You know what? Pretend that you were given a second chance every morning and use that as a way to motivate you to make good use of your time and really enjoy the world while the plastic has not utterly consumed our brains, while the ancient Egyptians are still hiding underneath the earth and all of that. Because I'm sure in 10 years we will be looking back at ourselves and saying, I was so young then and I didn't know it. So let's just say we are at our youngest right now. We are at our prime. So enjoy the now before the future washes it away. And with this, I will go do what I said or just have a cup of coffee. I hope you have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this podcast, like it, subscribe, press follow, go watch old episodes, subscribe your friends, give it some love, and I'll see you next week. Ciao!